Do you know what is scary? A lot of men think that gonorrhea is just a small infection that antibiotic can quickly clear. But do you know what? Untreated gonorrhea can actually damage your male reproductive system. It can affect fertility, it can spread through your body, and in some severe cases, it can cause long-term complications. And the worst part is that some of you don't even know you have gonorrhea because you hardly go for screening tests. If I should ask you now, when last you went for anything like screening tests, even if it's STI, you start telling me 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. That is where the problem starts. So in today's video, I'll be talking about what gonorrhea actually does to your body as a man, how this bacteria affect your reproductive system, the symptoms, and why you should go for a screening test. So if you're coming across my channel for the first time, just in case, my name is Uche Chichizendo, a clinical physiologist. Here we'll make educational content. If it concerns your health, don't worry, we gist about it. So do well to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be the first to see it. Now let's get into business. First of all, gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted infection caused by bacteria. Now listen up, this infection spread mainly through unprotected vaginal sex, oral sex, anal sex, or even through contact with infected fluid. Now, for those of you that don't really understand what oral sex is the simulation of your partner's genitals or anus using your tongue, your mouth, your lips. In simple terms, is when you use your mouth, your lips, or your tongue to lick plate. For those of you that call it plate, or to do blowjob. Let me stop at that. Now you understand what oral sex is all about. Now let's move on. Now, once this bacteria enters a man's body, the first place it usually attacks is the urethra. You need to understand that the urethra is a tube where both the urine and semen passes through. That is why one of the earliest symptoms some men normally experience when they have gonorrhea is that burning sensation during urination. Some people usually describe it as urinating hot pepper, that peppery sensation when urinating, or maybe you feel as if that place is hot. That pain there happens because the bacteria causes inflammation inside the urinary tract. And another sign is also is discharge from the penis. This discharge may look white, green, or yellow, or maybe looks thick or like a pus-like discharge, like as if pus is coming out. And this is the way of your body reacting to infection. But here is a dangerous thing. Some men will still see these signs or symptoms and ignore it out of embarrassment. You notice that you experience burning sensation that looks like peppery sensation when you urinate, or maybe feel as if fire is down there, or maybe you notice a pus-like discharge, yellowish or maybe whitish or greenish, and then it keeps reoccurring and you ignore it out of embarrassment. Some even go to the length of trying different kinds of antibiotics without proper testing. Like, how will you treat gonorrhea without knowing if you have gonorrhea? The only way you can know if you have gonorrhea is by running a test, not by treating it symptomatically. Some even take about different kinds of herbs. Why this bacteria or this infection is spreading internally, please, it doesn't work that way. Now let's talk about what happens if you as a man leave gonorrhea untreated for long. Now you need to listen that this infection, these bacteria can move upward into your male reproductive organs. One major area it affects is called the epidermis. Now this is a small coil tube just behind the testicles. Now you need to understand that your epidermis is where your sperm is stored and mature, because after sperm production in your testes, it is transferred to your epidermis where your sperm is stored and mature. Now, when gonorrhea enters this area, it causes what we call the epidermitis. Now, epidermitis is just like the inflammation of the epidermis. And trust me, this is not something you want to experience as a man. Symptoms include severe testicular pain, cruciating pain down there, swelling, tenderness. Some even experience swelling, fever, and difficulty walking properly. Some men even mistake it for hernia or injury, because the real issue is actually deeper, because prolonged inflammation. You know what inflammation is? Swelling. Another name for inflammation is just swelling. Now, prolonged inflammation in that area can affect sperm movement, can affect fertility. Remember, your epidermis is where sperm matures and is stored. And yes, untreated gonorrhea, when you leave this infection for long without treating it properly, It can potentially make it harder for some men to father children. And many people genuinely don't know. And another thing gonorrhea does is that it causes ongoing inflammation inside your urinary tract. So even after symptoms reduce, damage may still continue. Some men may later develop painful urination that keeps returning. That means they experience pain anytime they want to urinate, while for others, they may experience discomfort during ejaculation, while some, they may experience severe pelvic pain. And because this infection irritates sensitive tissue, sexual activity itself may become painful. Now listen up, not every man with gonorrhea shows symptoms. Some men will feel completely normal, no discharge, no pain, nothing at all. Meanwhile, they can still spread this infection to their partners without being aware they have it. This silent transmission is one of the reasons why gonorrhea spreads easily. And because there are no symptoms, some men leave it untreated for months. That is when complication becomes more dangerous. Now let's talk about oral and anal infection. Now listen up. If gonorrhea spreads through oral sex, this bacteria can infect your throat. Some men may notice sore throat, swollen gland, or pain while swallowing food, while for others, they may not even notice any sign or symptoms at all. And because it looks like a normal throat infection, many people don't usually suspect gonorrhea infection. While for anal sex, gonorrhea can infect the rectum. For those of you that don't know what the rectum is, it's just where your feces is temporarily stored before it gets out through your anus. Now, when it infects your rectum, it can cause itching, it can cause discomfort, it can cause pain, it can cause bleeding, or maybe discomfort sitting down. But the most dangerous situation is where this infection, that's when gonorrhea enters into your bloodstream. I know this is rare, but it can still happen. When gonorrhea spreads through your blood, it can infect different parts of your body, including your joints, your skin, and other organs of your body. A man may suddenly develop fever, severe joint pain, swollen knees or ribs, skin rashes, or difficulty moving. At this stage, it becomes a medical emergency that requires treatment immediately. So gonorrhea is not something to joke about with. And another major issue we have today is antibiotic resistance. Some strains of gonorrhea is becoming harder to treat because some people misuse antibiotics. Imagine having gonorrhea and you don't even go for any screening test. You start taking any sort of antibiotic they tell you. This can cause resistance, and some persons, they even stop their medication halfway without completing the whole treatment. That is why proper testing and correct treatment from healthcare providers actually matters, not random self-medication. Don't self-medicate. The good news is that this infection, this gonorrhea, is treatable, especially when caught early. Gonorrhea is fully curable at any stage with the right antibiotic, usually with antibiotics prescribed by a doctor, so don't self-medicate. Now listen up, don't allow gonorrhea to be in your body for years untreated. Yes, you heard me. Maybe you discovered that you have gonorrhea years back and you left it untreated without taking the proper medication, or maybe you start your medication and you stop halfway, or maybe you do not meet the right doctors that will handle your medication. You start taking herbs. No, it's not done that way. Make sure you treat this infection properly, because if you leave it, it can cause long-lasting damage to your body. Yes, gonorrhea can be treated. Yes, it has cure. Yes, you can take medication. But when you allow it to be there untreated for years, it can cause long-lasting damage even to your reproductive organ, which can cause infertility. And also, if you are treating, make sure that your sexual partner is also treating, no? Because that's just waste of time you are doing there. Make sure that they are tested and also treated, because if only one partner gets treated, reinfection can still happen again. That's like starting afresh. So in summary, gonorrhea in men can cause burning sensation during urination, can cause painful discharge, either whitish, urinish, or greenish, or maybe a pus-like discharge. It can cause severe pelvic pain, pains in your testicles. It can damage your reproductive organ, and this can affect your fertility. It causes damage silently even before symptoms become obvious. So this is why gonorrhea is not something to joke about with. Awareness and early treatment is extremely important. Make sure you go for a regular screening test. Now, if you find this video very, very helpful, don't just go without giving a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. Bye.